Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can black out the chrome on any vehicle and go from this to this. So on this truck, we're not going to be getting rid of all the chrome. We're going to leave the grille. We're going to leave this 1500 badge here. We're just going to be focusing on the side mirrors, the window trim, this molding on the body, and the Ram badge. If you're paying a professional to fully black out your car, like get rid of all the chrome, then mostly what you're paying for is labor, because there's much less material needed here than if we're wrapping the whole car. It's not even close, really. Luckily, if you're a DIYer, that means the material cost for you is very low, and all you have to invest in this is your time. And it could take quite a bit of time, but it's definitely a project in terms of like skill level or how difficult it is. It's really not that hard. It's a project that most people can do on their own at home. Looking at this truck and the trim specifically, the first thing we're going to notice is that it's super dirty. Now, personally, I don't wash a vehicle, especially the entire vehicle, when I'm doing a chrome delete. I don't know if that's controversial. I don't think it is. But the reason that I don't wash a vehicle is because once you put water on this, it always gets stuck in the seals. All of these areas here, on top of here, again in here, all these areas hold water, and one little drop will ruin the whole wrap. Of course, you could use compressed air or a leaf blower or something to get the water out, and you'll get 99, 98% of the water out, which is what happens usually when I use something like that. But then you're always left with like 1 or 2 drops of water that just get in the way, and they end up frustrating you, kind of ruining the vinyl, and you have to start over. And that really bothers me. So what I do instead is I use my 70% isopropyl alcohol. I put it on a microfiber towel, and I just continuously go over cleaning the chrome trim here until it's suitable to be wrapped. It could take 1 or 2 microfiber towels, but you're not left with that mess of moisture that sticks in the seals and kind of gets in the way. That's just the way I do it. As for the mirror, there's a pretty aggressive bend right here, so we're going to have to lay into that to make sure it doesn't fail. So we're going to start with the mirror. We'll wrap that, and then we'll move on to the trim. Okay, let's get started. Let's unroll this vinyl. Then we're going to get a good stretch. Separate your hands. Make sure you wrap the vinyl around the edges, just like that. Okay, and now that we've added some stretch to the vinyl, we need to relax it. So we'll add some heat, relax the vinyl back, otherwise it's just going to peel up. Make sure we lock in these edges, just like that, and then add some heat here to relax the area so we can lay into that deep recess. Okay, so the mirror's all wrapped. I still have to cut it out. I've just trimmed off, the excess here. But before we do our final cut, we need to make sure this is not going to shrink back and fail. How do we do that? Grab your heat gun, and we blast heat onto these stretched areas, and they're not moving. Focus here. Not moving. That is exactly what we're looking for. If these wrinkles here, if you can see these lines, we call them fingers, if they started moving this way towards the area that we wrapped, well, this is going to fail in the future. It means we overstretched and didn't relax the film back. So this film is already relaxed. I feel confident that this is not going to fail in the future. Last thing we need to do, and this is going to be difficult to show on camera just because of how big this mirror is, but we're going to trim this mirror, and as you'll see, there's lines here, a line for the cap here, there's a line for the cap in there. So we're going to put our blade, actually this is the easiest way to show it. This is the line here that separates the cap from the mirror. This area is not wrapped, this area will be. We have this dividing line here. We're going to place the back of our blade against this side so that when we cut it, we can tuck in a little bit of the rest and cover this edge. Now that the mirror is completely cut out, we do our final test. We get our heat gun, we blast this with heat, very hot setting, and if nothing moves, focus here, got nothing moving, we're good. That just confirms under that intense heat that if it's not moving under those conditions, it's not going to move under any condition that you're going to experience outside. So that vinyl is locked in and it's not going anywhere. So now we're going to move on to this trim. We're going to get it cleaned up and then we're going to start wrapping it. All the trim is completely cleaned up, easy wipe down. You can see there's no point showing it. But now I'm going to show you how we wrap this piece here. And then all the remaining pieces are exactly the same. But I will show you the in-depth process right now. Let's get started. We've pre-cut them. Make sure there's a little bit of dust on here. And wipe this down with a tack cloth. Just because there's a little bit of dust on there. So then we take our vinyl, just overlay it a little bit unroll completely. Okay. So we don't need to put any stretch into this. I mean, you could, but it's not really necessary. We're just going to lay this down. Very straightforward. Get all the bubbles out. You'll see there's air under here. There's pockets of air. So to get that out, instead of heating and pushing that in, what we're going to do is lift this edge up like that. And just like you would lay in on any other place, we are going to gently lay that down. You really, whenever you have a bubble with wrap, you really don't want to force it. Heat it up and push it down. That's not the way to do it. Laying in always lasts longer. And for those that are new to my channel, you know that I'm all about longevity. That's kind of how I focus on doing wraps. So let's get this top edge down. Okay. I forgot to mention, actually, I put an inlay on the face in here that goes this way because it's hard when you wrap the vinyl around to get like wrinkles and stuff. I just don't like it. It's easier to cut it shorter. So if you put an inlay, you can just trim right around the edge and it looks fine. So we have this done. Like, it's done. It's wrapped. Okay, so cutting it is the most important part and the part where everyone messes up. So I want to bring the camera closer for this. So there's only two real ways you can cut vinyl. That is either with a wrap axe that I have here, or that's with a knife. Now, a knife is scary for a lot of people because when you're cutting, you can easily damage the trim. And this is an expensive truck, so damaging the trim is very bad. We don't want to do that. But if you must cut or you like using a knife, this is kind of the tip I'll tell most people is you should have no pressure on your blade when you're cutting along here. So the advice I could offer you to make sure that you don't damage any type of trim is imagine you're holding a pencil. Your knife is your pencil. When you're pressing down and you're writing, you're applying pressure as you use a pencil. Now, if you're shading, so you're writing like this, but if you're shading, you kind of just let the pencil glide, or you're drawing and you just go like this to add whatever type of shading, and it's very light. That's how you need to view using the knife. If you're cutting and you're pressing down, you're going to cut something. You're going to damage something. The knife should be so sharp that as I'm cutting along here, it's just gliding. It's just sliding along the top of the vinyl. There should be no downward pressure. If you're doing that, either your blade is too dull or the knife's not in the right spot, or it could be a million things, but just don't apply pressure like that. A safer method is this wrap axe. So it's plastic. Obviously, if I apply enough pressure, I can cut things. But the reason I like this better is because as you're cutting, if I'm going to use it along here, as I'm cutting, it's also providing some tucking. It's pushing the vinyl in and cutting as you go. So those are kind of the two methods that you can use to cut the vinyl. Okay, so for the top piece, I'm going to get my tuck tool and tuck a little bit down because there is some chrome on the back side here. You know what? I might just use my finger. It's a very sharp angle, so if I could just get my fingernail to hook around, just the edge of my finger like that, yeah, that's good enough. And then I think I'm going to trim that with the blade. It's good to have a little bit of tension on it when you cut, so I'm just going to separate like that. Lift this up. See, so the vinyl's not cut. I have to pull it, and because I scored it, that's when it separates. That's how you know you're not cutting through, because it's not even cut. So I'll switch this to over here. And I know this is a lot slower than those super quick experts, that you see. But I'm not claiming to be one of them. You don't want to ruin all that work that you just did wrapping it and then damage the car. Lift that up. Keep going. Again, just dragging it along. I'm not pressing at all. Nice sharp blade. And there it goes. And then this we'll have to clean up later, but it's a little difficult because it's raised up with this piece here. So we'll come back and fix that. Just go nice slow, make sure it's all cut. So now you can go back with the wrap axe and you can tuck in like this, tuck in, and there. So now, once we clean up this edge, and then we come over here and we clean up this edge, that's it. It's as simple as that. So you can use a wrap axe to cut, you can use a knife, but those are pretty much the two methods to make sure you don't damage any trim. Okay, so the truck's outside now, just letting the vinyl cure, see if anything moves. The mirror here, this edge looks really nice. Nothing moving there. Looking at the chrome trim, it all looks good. Again, this is satin black instead of gloss black. I really like the finish of this more than the gloss black. We got the body molding, everything looks good here. Across here, so now we have the tungsten badge, and it was too thin to lay into it. So I had to cut around it, and it came out pretty good. I'm happy with that, nice little contrast. And same with the Ram badge. We just wrapped the face of it. On this side now, so this is mostly in the shade. A bit of it's in the sun, but it's okay. We can look at everything else we've done. Nothing's moving down here. Everything looks good. Really happy with that. And then again, the chrome trim, we're just double checking everything. And the chrome trim looks really nice. Again, satin black. Gives that a nice OEM factory look. Nice and clean. So now I'll step back and you can see the finished side. Looks really clean. Blackout. We might do the grill in the front at some point, but for now the customer said to just leave it. And yeah, that is the finished product. That's it. If you're thinking about doing a chrome delete yourself, I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.